Artha Gaut.
Good evening, Ashrita.
Good evening, madam.
Good evening, Athar. Turn on your video. Okay. How are you, Athar?
Fine, ma'am.
Okay, good. So I will be teaching you the bio, okay? And we have started the chapter, the cell, and wherein we'll be discussing about the cell theory today. And in the previous classes,
Okay,
we
ma'am.
have discussed about the different terms like Purkinje. Do you know who is Purkinje?
Ma'am?
Do you know who is Purkinje? Robert Hooke. Do you know
Yeah,
Robert
yeah.
Hooke?
Robert Hooke, I know.
Okay, Purkinje, and then I'll tell you about Purkinje. Purkinje is basically a scientist who has given the word called as protoplasm.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, protoplasm. Any idea about that? What is protoplasm?
Like the fluid substance of the cell.
What does it contain?
The membrane.
No,
No,
it
idea.
contains the cytoplasm and nucleus together. Okay,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
cytoplasm and nucleus together, they both are called as the protoplasm. And this
Okay.
protoplasm word, it was given by the Purkinje. Okay, so that's
Okay,
what we
ma'am.
have discussed, and we have discussed about the dead cells. Dead cells were discovered by the Robert Hooke, whereas the living cells were discovered by the who discovered
Uh,
the living cells?
uh,
Antony van Leeuwenhoek. Okay,
okay,
he
ma'am.
was another scientist, Antony van Leeuwenhoek, who discovered the living cell. And how he discovered the living cell? Through the pond water. So just he has taken the few drops of the pond water, and those drop he kept under the microscope. And when he watched under the microscope, he was able to see that in the drop something was moving. So that is how the living cells were discovered by Antony van Leeuwenhoek.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Now,
Yes.
based on all these things, we will be discussing about the cell theory, which is not only important for your grade 9, but it is very,
Yes,
very
ma'am.
important for your grade 11 and for the NEET examination also.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Let everybody join, then I'll be
Ma'am,
starting
did I
about the
miss
same.
anything?
You did not miss anything. We were just recapitulating. Okay, Geeta?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. And this is also like very interesting topic, related to bio. I hope, Atul, do you
Ma'am,
like
which
bio?
topic, ma'am?
Cell theory.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, that's very interesting.
Very interesting, yes. Very interesting also. But not only the old cell theory, like, in your book, it is old cell theory, it is being given. But nowadays, we have the modern cell theory also, little advanced form of it, which I will be telling you. It is not given in your book, but you should know now. Okay, we are in the 5G generation and all, so we should know the new concepts as well. We'll just wait for a minute. Let's see. Ashita, you want to dance? No. Okay. Fine. So let me start then better. Cell theory is basically a theory where three persons were involved. Now, what happened in a very simple example, if I have to give it, in our home, maybe you and your father will have the same opinion. Okay. So you're matching, your thinking capacity is matching. But what happened all of a sudden, your mother will have different kind of thinking, right? A different advanced form of it will be there. So here also for cell theory, two scientists were there. They have given their points. They have given their, postulates. Postulate means points. And those 2 points actually were corrected by the third person. Not corrected, or I can say that a point further was added to it. Okay. So you and your father thought process are being matched. But at the same time, the third person came into the scene. And what he did, he just added few more points to it. So these 3 points, now we will be discussing what are they for. Clear? So right now, don't write anything. I will be telling you when you need to write. Just listen. I am going to share my screen because a little complicated words will be there to understand. So it's better not to write. I hope, children, my screen is visible. Yes, Geeta, is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we will be discussing about cell theory, a very important topic for all the grades and for the NEET examination as well. So cell theory, this was actually given by the three scientists. Three scientists, three opinions were there. Now, the first scientist for this theory was the Matthias Skeleton. He was a first scientist and he was basically the botanist. Now, who are the botanists? They are the person who will be actually studying about the plants. Okay, so this scientist, Mithya Sheridan, what he did, he actually said that the all plants are made up of cells. So this was the theory which was given by him. He said that all plants are made up of the cell. This is what he gave. Now next, what happened? The another scientist known as Theodor Schwann. He came in the year 1839. So Shelley in the year 1838, the next year itself, this Schwann, he was the zoologist and he said that zoologists, they are the person who actually deals with the animal study. He said that all animals are made up of cells. So this point was given by him. They are made up of cells. Clear? These two persons, Shelidian and Schwann, Shelidian botanist, Schwann zoologist. Shelidian said that all plants are made up of cells, whereas the Schwann, he said that all animals are made up of cells. Now, the twist is that after this, third person came. They both were happy that, our theory is getting promoted and all. But later on, in the year 1855, another scientist came whose name is Rudolf Virchow. He came and what he said, he added one more theory to this old theory of cell theory. He said that, I'll write the statement on the next page in capital letters. He said that omnis cellula e cellulae. Omnis cellula e cellula. Now, do you know the meaning of this thing? This statement?
Yes, ma'am.
What it is, Geeta?
New cells come from pre-existing cells.
Very good, very good. Yes. This is actually a NEET-based question. They will be asking the meaning of this. So they will not be giving you the entire statement. They will be just giving you the simple statement and they ask you to give it the complicated form of it. So omnicellula acellula, which means that in simple words, all cells arise from pre-existing cells. So whatever cells are there in our body, in the living organism, from where they have come? They have come from the old cells only. This is a very important point. But can you give me any example of this? Any one of you?
Zygote
Yes. Zygote formation. Okay. How does it form?
from
How does it form?
male reproductive cell and female reproductive cell.
Very good, very good. I'll give it a very clear example of this. Why he has given this statement, Rudolf Virchow, he said that all the new cells, they have come from the old cell. Why he have said that? For example, now the male is there. The male will have the gamete, which is called as a sperm. Same way, the female will have the gamete, which is called as the egg. Now, during the fertilization, what happens? Those sperm of the male and the egg of the female, they will join. This is what the fertilization, right? After fertilization, what happened? The zygote is formed. Now, this zygote is what? It is the cell, a single cell. So what happened? The old cells were there, the gametes of the sperm, like egg of that female, what they were the cells only. And from that old cell only, the zygote was formed, which is the new form of it. Clear? So this is the meaning of this statement. So all whatsoever cells we have in our body that have come from the old cells only, nothing new are being formed. Okay, but yes, still, so this theory will have some kind of limitation also. Like I think you might be knowing the meaning of limitation or the exceptions are there. So though 99% things were correct based on theory it was working, but certain limits are also there. We will be discussing it, in some few minutes. Till here, am I clear, Rishit, Medha, Ashrita, Geeta, and Atharv?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
Yes,
first one,
ma'am.
all
Yes,
plants
ma'am.
are made up of cells. Second thing, all animals are made up of cells. And third one, the theory was extended by the virtue. He said that all cells have come from the old cells only. Okay. Now let us see the theory point by point. So children, you may start writing first of all this page so that I can move to the next page. Complete this page, then I will be moving to the next one now. I will be explaining the cell theory.
Um,
Yeah, tell me.
Ma'am, in our school they told different cell theory, ma'am. The third one was the same. First and second, it
Hmm.
was totally different.
This is only the point. Theory I have not started yet.
Oh, you
Okay.
didn't start a theory yet, ma'am.
No, I did not started the theory. The theories are
Okay,
different. This is like about
okay,
the
ma'am.
scientist actually.
Okay, ma'am.
Cell theory, now I will be starting the postulate the points of them.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. And children write fast, okay? Is it done? Yes, Medha, Alankita, it is done. Ashrita?
Yes.
Writing, madam.
Okay. Atharv, done?
Ma'am, almost.
Okay.
Rudolf Virchow is a botanist or a zoologist, ma'am?
Come again, sorry.
Rudolf Virchow is he a botanist or zoologist?
Mixing of together. He was working on both the things actually.
Okay. So what's that scientific term for that?
You can say the biologist. They will be dealing
O-
with both.
Okay, ma'am.
Hmm. Okay, now let's go for the main points of the cell theory given by these three scientists. Okay, so this is also the statement you write in the capital letters and write all the meaning also there down. All cell arise from the pre-existing cell. Now, we will be discussing about the cell theory postulates. In the exam, they will be giving you the word postulate, which means nothing. It means the points of the cell theory. So when we talk about the first point of it, the first postulate of the cell theory, it says that all living organisms are made up of cell. What it says? All living organisms are made up of cells. So, in the simple language, the plants, animals, microbes, whosoever living organism are there, they all are made up of the cells. And here they have given the two types of cell, wherein the unicellular and multicellular. So two types of cells they have mentioned. Either they will be made up of the unicellular cell, only one cell, or maybe they will be made up of more than one cell. This was the first point. The first point says all living organisms are made up of cell, and when they say made up of cell, it means they can made up of only one cell, or they can made up of more than one cell as well. Is it done, children, till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Medha, Ashrita, Athar,
Yes, ma'am.
Rishit.
Yes, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Okay. Now, second point, it says that the cell is the basic structural and functional unit of life. This is what you are learning actually, from your lower grades. That cell is the basic structural and functional unit of life. Why they says this? They say this because whatever the life processes are there, whatever the life processes are there, which happens in our body, it occurs where? It occurs within cells. Now, children, do you have any idea what are life processes here? What do you mean by it?
Ma'am, digestion, respiration, circulation.
Very good. It means they are, I can write it in the trick form of it to learn as like Mrs. Nudge. Okay, this is a shortcut to learn the names of the different life processes. Mrs. Nudge. This is the trick or the shortcut to learn it, where M stands for the movement, R stands for the respiration, S stands for the stimulus, N stands for the nutrition, E stands for the excretion, R stands for the reproduction, and the G stands for the growth. So all these are what? They are basically the processes which happens in our life. And because of these processes only, we can survive. That is why we call them as the life processes. Am I clear, children, with the shortcut, how you have to learn it? Mrs. Nudge. So second point of the cell theory is that cell is the basic structural and functional unit of life where the different processes will be occurring within the cell. Now you have to digest the food. You are eating the food, right? In the body it goes. So with the help of the cell, within the cell only the process will be happening. Now after eating, it has to break down. It will be breaking down within the cell to get the energy. So every processes are happening because of the cell. Adhar, any doubt you have?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Medha, any doubt? Ashrita, any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Geeta,
No, no, it's not.
Rishit.
No, ma'am.
Okay. So shall we go to the next one then? And these 2 points together was given by the Shelidian and Schwann. Okay, it is not like the first one was given by the first scientist and second scientist has given second point. No, they both have together given this 2 points where all living organisms are made up of cells and cell is the basic structural and functional unit of life. Now later now in the third point, that is called as the extension of cell theory or expansion of the cell theory. Should I go to the next page?
Yes,
One
ma'am.
Okay, I'll wait for 1 minute. Now, the next one and the last point of this theory is basically called as the expansion of cell theory. Expansion of cell theory. It was given by the R. Virchow, or we can say Rudolf Virchow. So in this theory, he said that all cell arise from the all cells arise from pre-existing cell. So this was actually given by the Virchow.
Ma'am, what is that after all cells?
Arise, A-R-I-S-E.
Okay.
Hmm. Fine. So these are the 3 points, 3 postulates of the cell theory given by these 3 persons. Starting 2 point by the Shelledian and Schwann, and third point was given by the Virchow. So all these 3 points we are completed with. Now, in your books and all, you might have not studied about the exceptions. So you will be learning, when you're going for any kind of competitive exam about the exception of the cell theory. Exception means, or limitation, we can say, limitation, exceptions, all those are there. So though these points were given and we were following, we were understanding that and all, but some exceptions are there which are not coming under this theory. One of the very, very important exception is they are the virus. Can you tell me why I'm saying the virus is coming under the exception of this theory? How we can say that virus does not come under this theory? Any idea, Medha, Rishit, Geeta, Ashita,
Ma'am, it
Athar?
reproduces inside the human body.
Almost half answer is correct. Think more. Athar, any idea why we are saying virus as an exception?
Ma-
Think. What is virus? Okay, first tell me, Athar, what is virus?
It's like uh um what do you say?
I'll tell you. Viruses basically, they are the borderline between the living and non-living. Okay, so we cannot say them as living, we cannot say them as non-living. They are actually the borderline. When they get any kind of the living organism, when they go inside any living organism, they become living. And the moment when they come out of them, they become non-living. That is why we consider them as a borderline organism. Like you might have seen during the COVID time, right? We were using the mask and all. Why we were using the mask? Because so that this virus cannot go inside. If in case the virus have gone inside, they will multiply because they become living there. That is why we were using the mask. Now, these viruses are considered as an exception because they are not made of cells. So we have said all living organisms are made up of cells, but these viruses, they are not made up of cells. Now the why I'm saying that they are not made up of cell, it is because they do not have cytoplasm, they do not have the organelles. So whatever the organelles are required, they do not have it. Or in fact, we can say that they are acellular. It means absence of cell they have. And they can only reproduce inside the host cell. Can reproduce only inside the host cell. Host cell means when they get any kind of the living organism, then only in that person body they can multiply or they can reproduce. So that is why we say that the viruses are the exception for the cell theory, because they are living only when they are getting any kind of the host. If they are outside the host in the environment, they do not function, they do not reproduce. Clear, children? And also, they do not have any cellular structure. They do not have the cytoplasm. They do not have the mitochondria. They do not have the ribosome. So these all important things which is required for the formation of the body, they do not have it. That is why they are the exception of this theory. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is the exception of this. Done, children? Completed writing?
Yes, ma'am.
Now
Ma'am,
the next exception. Sorry, come again?
1 minute, ma'am. I'm writing the last point
Okay,
actually.
Ashrita, no problem. Now, second exception is the multinucleate cell. Now, what are multinucleate cells? Multinucleate cells basically means they will have the many nucleus together. For example, there is an algae called as the Wucheria. Ashrita, done? Shall I go to the next page?
Madam, a minute actually. My grandma came, so I could not write.
No problem, Ashrita. I will send it to you, okay?
Okay, madam.
I'll send it, okay. Now, the second exception of the cell theory is the multinucleate cells. Multinucleate cells. Now, what happened? Why they are the exception? Multinucleate cell? It means the cell, one single cell, will have many nucleus together. Will have many nucleus in them. Okay, one single cell will have many nucleus, and such kind of the cells are also called as the syncytic cells. Important term for your competitive exam. What are the syncytic cells? So they are the cells with many nucleus. So one single cell will have the many nucleus in them. Such kind of the cells are called as the syncytic cells. Now here the example is the algae. The algae called as the Vaucheria. So Vaucheria is a kind of the algae. Now when I talk about algae means they will be living in the water. They require the water to multiply and all. So you might have seen, like, where the water gets stagnant, where the water does not move. In that water, there will be some green color structure. It will be produced. Those are the algae. Algae, they will be autotrophic. They can prepare their own food also. So if they can prepare their own food, it means they can do the photosynthesis as well. So depending on the type to type, they will be doing this process. Now, this voucher area, basically what happened, they will be containing many nuclei in one single large cell. And the cytoplasm is not divided into separate cells. But according to the cell theory, what we said? We said that the cell is the basic unit of structure. So according to the cell theory, we said that the cell is the basic unit to form the structure. But in this case of multinucleate cell, what is happening? The entire body is being formed without any division of the cytoplasm in the cell. In one single cell itself, all the nuclei are present and they do not divide at all. Clear? So they will be getting their shape, they will be getting their structure without any division, without any kind of the structure formation. That is why this become as the exception of the cell theory. So in the vouch area, the cell is the basic unit of structure. This statement is wrong because in one cell itself, they will have the multinucleate nucleus, because of which the structure will be formed automatically. They do not rely on one single cell or one single nucleus. Am I clear, Geeta, Ashrita, Medha, Atharv, Rishit?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So here, cell is a basic unit of structure. This theory proves wrong. Instead of that, I'll write the correct statement in this. What happened? Why we are saying it as exception? It is because instead of many separate cell, actually in reality they should have many separate cell. But in this Voucheria, instead of many separate cell, what do they have? They have one large cell which actually behaves like many cells. Behave like many cells, and which does not follow then which does not follow the idea of typical cell organization. So this is what this exception is. So since they should have actually a separate cell, but instead of separate cell, they have one large cell in which many cells are there and they are working on their own. Fine, children? Completed. Now, should we go to the next one if it is done? Done? Rishit done? Atharv done?
Yes, ma'am.
Medha, Ashrita. Okay.
Done, ma'am.
Now, the third exception of this theory is the anucleate cells, which means the cells without nucleus. So cell will be there, but they do not have the nucleus. A very good example is basically the RBC, which we call them as the red blood corpuscles. Corpuscles means cells, okay? So now what happened? Though we are saying the red blood cell as the cell, we are calling the red blood cell as a one of the type of the cell, correct? But according to the theory, according to the cell theory, we talk about what should happen. So cell theory, it considered cell as a complete unit, with nucleus. So cell theory says that a cell is said to be complete when they have what? When they have nucleus in it to control all the activities. Okay. So according to cell theory, if any cells are there, they should have compulsory nucleus with it so that they control all the activities whatsoever happens in the body. But now this is the limitation wherein the RBC, what they do not have? They do not have the nucleus. They do not have a nucleus. They cannot divide. Or they will have what? They will have the limited lifespan. So if I talk about the lifespan of the RBC, that is almost like 120 days it will be there. So this is the exception. Now, why are we calling them as exception? It is because they lack an important component. Which component they lack?
Nucleus.
Yes. So they lack the important component called as the nucleus. That is why they are the exception for this theory. So they are not complete cell. So for being a complete cell, they should have what? They should have the nucleus in them. But these RBC, they do not. That is why we consider them as the exception of this cell theory? Any doubt, Medha?
No, ma'am.
Ashrita?
No, ma'am.
Rishit? Rishit, any doubt? Geeta?
I have a doubt.
Tell me.
Why isn't WBC considered like this as exceptional, ma'am?
WBC basically they change their shape and they can divide actually. That is the reason we are not considering them, and they have the nucleus also.
And they have limited lifespan.
Yeah, they have limited lifespan, but they have the nucleus, so they can divide easily. That's the reason
And
they are
why
not coming.
doesn't RBC have nucleus then?
They do not require it because they will be always forming the new one rather than the old one.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
on
ma'am.
their own, they perform the things. They on their own, they perform the activities. They do not rely on the nucleus.
Okay, ma'am.
Athar, any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Athar, your video is like off. I can see that. Okay, now I can. So this is like important cell theory. So though those cell theories you might have learned, children, maybe you will be learning or you have learned it, but these exceptions are very important for your competitive exam. And don't be limited to only one book. We should start learning now many books, children, because you have to prepare for the competitive exam. That is very, very important. Okay. So understand there's nothing to mug up. You just understand. If I am saying that viruses are being considered as the exception, why is it so? It is because in some of the time, some of the condition they are living, and in some of the condition they are not living. That is why they are the exception. Now, I said the multinucleate cells are exception. It is because in one large cell itself, many cells will be there, and those many cells will be working individually, and they will be forming the structure of their own body. Then I said the RBCs are being considered as the exception. It is because they do not have the nucleus, they do not have the lifespan, and they cannot divide. And because of that reason, the important component which is being required to be called as cell is missing. That is how they are being considered as the exception of the cell theory. So, any doubt? Anything, children, you wanted to ask?
No, ma'am.
See, there are many,
No,
many,
ma'am.
many, many, many things actually, like, to understand. Many things are there. It's only like the timing. And maybe tomorrow, then we will be discussing about the different types of the cells, the functions of them in the body, and should not be limited only one functions. We should know many different functions. Now, for example, the nerve cell. What is the function of the nerve cell? Geeta, turn on the video. Medha, turn on the video. What is the function of the nerve cell?
I
Yes,
have to send
children.
the messages from my brain to the other organs.
Okay. Other organs, instead of organ, we can say to the other parts of the body also. Correct. Okay. Athar, can you name any other cell in our body apart
Ma'am.
from the nerve cell?
White blood cells,
Very good. Okay. What's the function of them?
they like protect the body from
From
diseases, I
whom?
think.
Correct.
Like
From the
diseases.
germs, from the diseases, from the
Germs.
infection.
Disease.
Okay.
Yeah.
All these things. Very good. Okay. Ashita, any apart from this WBC and the nerve cell, any other cell do we have in our body?
RBC, red blood cells.
Very smart. Okay. Medha, apart from the RBC, WBC, and the nerve cell, any other cell do we have? We have many. Think. Muscle cells also we have it. Correct? Rishit, any other example of the cell?
Ma'am, is male gamete or like gametes come under cells?
Yes, they also come under the cell. The male will have the sperm cell, the female will have the egg cell. They are also what? They are the type of the cell with the different functions. Okay, so nerve cell we have, the fat cells also we have. So because of that, we become fatty. as if like I am also. So fat cells we have then globules also. Then we have the ova cells, we have the sperm cell, RBC, WBC, spleen, many different types of the cells are there. So those cells which are actually very important, we will be discussing them with their functions in the tomorrow's class. Okay. So start sending the notes now, children, to me. Athar, you have to send those notes, what you have written on my number.
Where?
On my number. I think your mother might be having my number.
Mom, 1 minute.
Okay. You have to just click the photo and send the images. Okay, so I have received from Medha. Medha, write the date as well, okay?
Okay.
I have received from Ashrita also. I have received from Geeta. So your today's homework will be that you need to.
Mom, can you tell your phone number once? Like my
You
mother's currently out. So yeah.
okay, I'll just send it in the chat. Just a minute, okay?
Yes, mom.
I have sent it. Okay, so Ashrita, Medha, Geeta, you may leave. Rishit, you can also leave.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome. Okay, Atharva, yes, okay. Atharva, is this your number?
Yes, mom.
Okay, so Atharva, how was the class? Are you able to understand what is like going on?
Yes, mom.
Do you think like I'm running, I should slow down?
Mom, it's okay.
If in case you feel like, you can tell me, we can slow down
Okay, mom.
also, no problem at
Yes,
all. Okay. So just revise all these topics, what we have completed, so that once you revise it, you will be getting more confidence over those points.
okay, mom.
Hmm. So I have got one page. I think still one more page you have to send it. Okay. Second one, I have got it.
Yes, mom.
Okay. I have received. Okay.
Yes, mom.
Just revise this part.
Okay, mom.
Okay. Thank you. And then at 6:20, you will have your maths class as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, mom.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.